Welcome to The Business Strategist, the show for CEOs and founders ready to scale fast, lead smarter, and build a business that doesn't rely on them. I'm Adam Strong, award-winning strategist, former elite athlete, international speaker, and 3 times best-selling author. After 3 decades in business, I know exactly what it takes to grow, scale, and exit with impact. Each week, I dive into real conversations with industry experts, bold entrepreneurs, and clients navigating the uphill struggles of business, giving you the tools, the strategies to create more profit, more freedom, and more impact. Let's get into it.
I didn't pay for ads, I didn't go viral, and I didn't chase the algorithm, but I still became a LinkedIn top voice. And in this video, I'm going to show exactly how you can too.
Meta AI is the personal AI to help you with whatever you need. Plus, it meets you where you are. Not only is Meta AI now an app, but it's also on the apps you already know and love: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. Plus the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. It's easy to access wherever you are. So whether you're talking or texting, Meta AI is convenient to use throughout your day. Experience our newest AI that's tailored to you by downloading the Meta AI app. Try the Meta AI app today on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's version of The Business Strategist with myself, Adam Strong. Interestingly enough, last year, January 24, I was awarded the Top Voice badge over on LinkedIn, and I also recorded a video about a step-by-step instruction about how you can go about doing that. Now, since that video, there's been some developments because there were 2 programs running. There was the Gold Badge Award, where basically you contributed to collaborative articles, which were AI-generated articles, and then you could share your opinions and insights, of course. And then you had the Top Voice Badge program, which I didn't feature as much, but I kind of like shared the content. And in today's episode, I really kind of wanted to share an up-to-date version of that. I wanted to share with you some best practices about how to become a Top Voice badge here on LinkedIn, of course. And I'm going to give you a step-by-step breakdown of how I got mine, but more importantly, how you can get yours. So let's get straight in. So for you guys that don't know what the LinkedIn Top Voice badge program is, it is specifically by invitation only. So first of all, you can't buy into the program. Second of all, there are no cookie cutter strategies, cheat codes or whatever it might be, or secrets. So for those guys that are looking for that, I'm sorry to disappoint you. You're not going to find that in this video. But if you are keen and interested and specifically would like that breakdown on how to become a Top Voice LinkedIn badge, then keep listening. So let me give you an insight about what the LinkedIn Top Voice badge is. Like I said, it's a by invitation only. It's specifically LinkedIn. Basically, they have over 1 billion members here, of course, and they look at your profile twice a year to see if you meet certain criteria. And normally the Top Voice badge is for thought leaders, influencers, celebrities, public figures, or people that they see that bring huge credibility, thought, insight to the platform and their members, okay? And as a reward, obviously, you get the Top Voice badge. Now, what's really interesting is that there are certain requirements that you need to become a Top Voice badge, but more specifically, you've got to make sure that you adhere to the community guidelines that LinkedIn set out as well. So that's the formalities. That's really the Top Voice LinkedIn badge program. And the next part, really, I wanted to share with you about what I have found, me personally, what I have gained in terms of benefits, right? So I think more specifically is you can be a book author, you can be a podcaster, you can be YouTube strategist like Mr. Beast, for example. But a LinkedIn Top Voice badge is completely different, okay? And one of the benefits that I have found specifically is that it's really enhanced my brand. Like really elevated my brand. And, and what that really does from my perspective is that it enhances credibility. It enhances authority in my specific niche, okay, in my specific industry. And it's interesting because I've been approached on LinkedIn more specifically. And what I have found is I am finding opportunities that I never would have dreamt about even 2-3 years ago. And when people see that top voice badge, they instantly think, wow, this guy or girl must really, really know what they're talking about. Okay. So I think from a personal branding perspective, it really trumps more than anything else. So I use it more as a positioning tool. And again, if you position yourself correctly, then it's really going to enhance your brand. And your brand is going to be so crucial, especially from 2025 and more. If we look at, for example, Cristiano Ronaldo, which has more followers on Instagram than all the Premiership football clubs in the whole of the UK, which is insane, right? So personal brands are seen as kind of like the guiding light, like the person, they can be powerful. If there's a face to a business, then it's like, wow, people can relate to that, right? So that's the second part. The third part is where you get your notebook and pen handy, because I want to share some real gems and some golden nuggets. So if you don't have your notebook and pen handy, make sure that you go back, rewind, and listen to this, because I'm going to be dropping some great best practices. Now, these best practices are really kind of what I have experienced, my own personal experience, okay? It doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone. All I'm going to share with you is best practices. Hey guys, I just wanted to take this opportunity to make you aware of a brand new tool that we've just created called the Exit Readiness Assessment. Now, it is for founders and CEOs that are looking to exit from their business operations. Now, it doesn't matter even if you're not looking to exit right now, I would highly recommend to go and take the assessment straight away. It helps you to identify areas in your business that you need to work on to help you towards that exit strategy. And at the end of it, you get a personalized report on some of the areas that you're doing particularly well in and some of the areas that you need to make some improvements to. Make sure you head over to readytoexit.scoreapp.com. That's readytoexit.scoreapp.com. Enjoy. So let's talk about best practice number one. Best practice number one from me is, before you even think about a top voice LinkedIn badge program, there are a few things that you need in order to make that happen. The first thing is that you really got to define who your audience is. I called it the ideal customer persona. All right. And what I mean specifically is understanding their psychological and emotional triggers more specifically, rather than just demographics. It's really understanding their psychology. It's understanding their fears, their challenges, their pain points, their frustrations, and how you solve it, whether it be with educational or inspirational based posts, but effectively how you solve it as a thought leader. Number two is, and this is again, is extremely important, is that you've got to optimize your profile. I cannot explain to you how many profiles I come across on a daily basis, and either one, profiles have not been optimized. Number two, they haven't been updated in years. Okay. Yet they complain that there's not enough leads. They're not growing their business enough. Hey, go back, look at your LinkedIn profile. So optimize your profile. What does that mean? It means switch to content creator mode, number one. Number two, make sure you got a professional photo. You can use tools like canva.com to remove the background image, for example. A powerful headline, extremely important. People don't want to know what you do as a profession, like you're an accountant, you're an IT consultant, you're in management, whatever it might be. People don't want to see that. What they want to see is they want to know that you're talking to them. What does that look like? It looks like basically, what do you specialize in? I specialize in working with whoever you're specializing, working with, businesses, IT consultants, whoever it might be. And what is it that you actually do? What problem are you actually trying to solve? And what's the benefit? So I work with businesses and help them to exit their business faster through our 12-month cohort program or something like that. So they're looking for a direct correlation to what that is to them, right? What's the real benefit of why they're connecting with you, why they should build trust with you. And the last part is your cover image. Don't leave that blank. What I'd like to see is, especially on a good profile, is a little bit of credibility and really kind of a catchphrase or a slogan about what you actually do. And what is it that you want people, where do you want people to go? Do you want them to go to your featured in section? Do you want them to go to your website? What is it that you want to specifically get them to do? So extremely important. Make sure you got a good cover image. Again, you can use things like canva.com, or you can just get a graphic designer for like 20, 30 bucks and they'll do something really, really cool. So that's extremely important. Got to get those things done. Now, the next things are a little bit deeper. So we're going to go a little bit deeper now. So first of all, when we think about best practices, we've got to think about how we can be consistent on the platform. Consistency is the mother of everything. You know, one of the things that I have learned, especially leading up to getting the Top Voice badge, was that I consistently posted content at least 3 times a week. And some people might say, well, that's a lot, isn't it, Adam? You know, it isn't. And I generally did weekdays, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, or Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, or whatever it might be. But generally it would be during the week. And 3 times a week is what I generally did as an absolute minimum. So being consistently on the platform is going to be absolutely crucial. That's the first part. Second part, have a add value mentality. And what I mean by that is that what the guys at LinkedIn look at is they look at how you're adding, how you're giving more rather than taking more, because LinkedIn hates salesy, promotional-based content, promotional-based profiles. They actually, when you post content and it's seen as salesy, they actually bury the content. It doesn't get as much reach. If you look at some of the content that you might have created or other people's, what you'll find is you'll find a lot of the content that is much more highly engaged are the ones which are seen as non-promotional and non-salesy. Add value first mentality is absolutely crucial. Tip number 3 is, one of the things that I did, especially and still continue to do that, is to experiment with different types of content. And there are different ways to create that content. It could be infographics. It could be carousels. It could be an image with some text, for example. It could be newsletters. I tend to experiment and diversify my content in any way, shape, or form. And, you know,
in golf, precision is everything, on and off the course. PGA of America chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business for smooth operations and seamless transactions. Together, we enhance ticketing and concessions for better fan experiences from gate to green. This is pro-level efficiency. This is PGA of America with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
Getting traction on your LinkedIn profile and getting the attention of LinkedIn specifically, you've got to re-diversify and strategize more specifically. It isn't a quick strategy. It isn't a quick buck thing. This is a 6 to 12 month strategy. So the type of content that I create may not work for you, but it may work for other people. And be very mindful of that. You know, if you did, you know, maybe try 2 different types of content over a 2-3 month period and then mix it up a little bit and see which traction gets the most. But don't be afraid of experimenting with different types of content. Extremely important. I certainly did it. We did newsletters. We've done some short form video content. So videos under a minute and a half. And we've tried and tested it. And one of the things that works really well for me is text with image. That works extremely well for me. It doesn't mean it can work for you. It just might mean that you just need to experiment and see what works for you based on your industry and specialism. So that's number 3. Number 4, and Jasmine Alec, my really good friend Jasmine Alec, will be smiling at this because me and him did a great YouTube and podcast last year. And he has a great framework around what we call the commenting matrix. And best practice number 4 is champion others. What I mean by champion others is basically, you know, supporting other people's posts with your insights, your opinions, and your knowledge. Because again, if it helps people to stay on the platform, if it helps with their personal development, their education, then LinkedIn sees that as a plus. They like that, all right? They want people to stay on the platform for as long as possible. So do yourself a favor. when you're creating content, make sure that you're commenting on other people's posts at least 15 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be any more than that. 15 to 20 minutes a day is what I tend to do. But champion others. It's extremely important. It doesn't matter if they're a small content creator or a big content creator. It's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that you're on the platform championing other people's content. That's a plus. The last one that I would say to you more specifically is create content that is, number one, safe, professional, but also respectful. And what I mean by that is, you're going to get people on LinkedIn that just don't like you or they don't respect what you post. It doesn't mean that you can be like them. You're better than that. At the end of the day, LinkedIn champions people that support other people. They don't want to build a community of people that hate on others. That's just not cool. So this is within, again, LinkedIn's community guidelines and best practices. Just make sure that it's professional. And make sure that it is your thought patterns. And again, I want to share some other thoughts as well with regards to content creation that, again, has worked for me. And one of the things that's worked really, really well is really mixing up the content. And that may mean things like personal storytelling. It could mean also sharing about a step-by-step breakdown of how to do something. It could be checklists. It could be many different things. One of the things that I like to do is sharing behind the scenes or sharing a vulnerable moment and also sharing opinion. So try to mix up that content in any way, shape, or form. LinkedIn likes that. Variety is the best spice of life, as we like to call it. So that is a big chunk of how to get more attention on your LinkedIn profile, but more specifically, how to get the attention of people at LinkedIn so that you can get your top voice badge. So let's just summarize before we finish off today's episode. I talked a little bit about the LinkedIn Top Voice program and what it's about. It's invitation only. You can't buy it. There are no cookie cutter strategies. You just got to listen to best practices, which is what I'm doing today. I talked a little bit about the benefits that I've received personally. And again, for those other people that have already got a top voice badge, they may have other benefits too. So make sure that you chime into them as well. And then I talked a little bit about best practices. So I talked a little bit about diversification and experimentation. I talked a little bit about defining who your audience is. I also talked about optimizing your profile and the importance of that. Make sure that you're utilizing all the sections. You're getting recommendations on your profile as well. You're utilizing every single part of your profile and you're constantly updating it on a regular basis. So if you haven't updated your profile, by the way, for at least 2 to 3 months, go back, revisit it, okay? And, again, if you're not getting conversations, if you're not building relationships, if you're not generating leads on your LinkedIn profile or through your LinkedIn profile, then the best thing to do is to really, again, evaluate that. Ask for people's opinion and feedback about your profile and if it hits certain criteria. So it's extremely important. I talked a little bit about add a value first mentality. Because again, LinkedIn loves you to educate and inspire their community. If you're doing that, then great, thumbs up. And I talk about this a lot, the importance of consistency. If you're going to the gym, for example, don't expect results from one workout, okay? You've got to be consistently going to the gym in order to get transformation, whether it be for weight loss, whether it be for sports performance, whatever it might be. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you've got to keep doing something over and over again and be a master of that. I hope that this has been a real eye-opener. I hope this has given you some useful insights and best practices. If by any chance you have followed the framework that I've given you from today, and any of you guys that get awarded a LinkedIn Top Voice badge, do me a favor, reach out to me. Even if you did like some of the content that I've given you for today, again, reach out to me, share with me what your thoughts are, what your insights were. What did you take away from today's episode? And for you guys that are not connected with me on LinkedIn, follow me over on LinkedIn or send a connection request. You can use the little blurb if you wish to. I get so many different requests anyway, but it'd be great to connect. Or you can follow me over on YouTube and also listen to the Business Strategist podcast, which is over on Apple and also over on Spotify, where we have video podcasts as well. So listen, from me, Adam Strong, hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye.